Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to cook what I call chicken jello. It is basically diced up rotisserie chicken, after which I take the bones and boil them in a crock pot for an hour and a half, and then I strain the resulting broth onto the diced chicken and refrigerate it. It turns into this gelatinous mess that I then spoon out during the course of the week for my meals. I find it to be a very efficient means of production, and I actually have another channel where I talk about how I lost 52 pounds, mostly by going high protein. So let me just show you a couple things real fast, then I'll cut the video, show you some video then of boiling chicken, and then the final straining process, and then finally you'll see chicken jello. So I buy anywhere from 2 to 4 rotisserie chickens a week, and you literally, you know that phrase, machine separated? Well, what I do with the chicken is hand separated. I take it apart, take the wings and the legs apart, and then, just literally reduce it, get all the meat off the bones. Eventually I'll dice that stuff up while the bones are boiling, but it's really a simple process. I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated. Everyone likes to eat, but let's not turn it into something that it isn't. Okay, so basically you just mangle the chicken until you can start putting the bony, grisly, connective pieces aside. I don't suppose any vegans are watching this. This is probably, if you're a sadomasochistic vegan, perhaps you're watching this. But you just disassemble the chicken. It's just, again, not that complicated. But let's put this aside for now. I'll finish that later. This is another chicken that I was working on. All the bones, some skin, and of course the lovely, lovely fat, which is part of that jello that you saw. Now I'll rinse this out to get all of this junk out. And also what I do is throw in 2 chopped up jalapenos. That adds a little bit of heat to the broth, so that when I eat during the week, I really don't need to use seasonings like pepper or Tabasco or hot sauce or anything like that. It's already cooked in to the broth. And that's it. It takes about an hour and a half, just FYI. I like using the crock pot. It's efficient, it's easy to clean. And that's it. We'll come back for some pictures of boiling chicken, and then back to the straining, and then back to the chicken jello. Okay, so as promised, here's some footage of boiling chicken with sliced up jalapenos. It's chicken, it's boiling. One thing you're going to notice as you boil the carcass of rotisserie chicken is it'll go through basically 3 stages. The first is, once the water warms up, you'll start to see some of that Campbell's soup kind of fat come to the surface. Then you'll see it start to thicken a little, but what you're really looking for is the last stage where it gets almost creamy, and I'm assuming that that is the marrow that's being released from the bones, and that's about when I shut it off, let it cool down a little bit, and strain it over the diced up chicken. We'll come back in a little bit and watch me strain the broth over the chicken. Okay, so here we go. I have boiled the chicken carcass and let it cool off a little bit. I'm going to now strain the broth over the diced chicken, and in about a day I'll have chicken jello, which I typically spoon out during the week as the base of my meals. It's a very efficient way to eat during the week, and it just gets food production out of the way. Okay, so there you have it. Wow, that's warm. This is going to become this. Chicken Jello. Just a couple of hours and you've got food for a week.